Pioneers closing out the month of January with a 3-game homestand, and this week versus the Lenore Bears along with Anderson. Hello everyone, I'm Brian State and joined by Pioneer coach JT Burton. We welcome you into Pioneer basketball with Coach Burton. We began on Wednesday midweek with an Anderson team that came in. They're a really dangerous team. I think they're very scary. Crosby James scares me to death. They've got a young freshman in Jenkins that is able to penetrate, get inside the lane and score very easily lots of times. And then they ran into a red-hot Jalen Crowder, who was coming off a 5 3-point game and an overtime loss to Queens. But an Anderson team that came in the first time that we've seen them, so we kind of had to give them all of their attention. And again, they're two very good guards for this team, and I think Coach Brookhammer does a great job in getting those guards and playing at a high level.
Yes, I mean, we knew coming in that they was going to be ready to go because they've lost a couple of close games, especially at home. And we hadn't been shooting the ball up until that Queens game exceptionally well because, you know, we lost that game as well. So, but Jalen Crowder done a really good job of getting started off. Coming off the bench, he made his first three, made his second one, so he got going. I think he ended up the game 6 for 11 from the three-point line.
Guy that got us going, Justin Mitchell, and even Jim Miller and I were joking about it. Maybe the guy that leads us or leads the country in scoring in the first 5 minutes of a game. But he did set the tone once again. Steps up, gets 10 points in about the first 6 minutes of the contest.
Yeah, Justin is one of those kids. You know, I said it in the last coach's show that he's done a really good job of staying consistent and working and getting better. And you go look at his numbers, they steadily climb. And that first 5 minutes, I mean, we need that because he's the one that kind of gets us going, kind of gets us settled in, both on the defensive end, especially it's a big plus for him to start on the offensive end. So with Justin doing that, it kind of helps us out, but he has been scoring at a high rate at the beginning of the game.
Pioneers had one of their better shooting games of the season, coming off the game against Queens when we shot just 38% for the game. And again, scored a season high in the loss to Queens in that contest, take on an Anderson team. Let's take a look at the highlights. It's Tusculum and Anderson, and again, it's the first time this season that the Pioneers have played the Trojans. So we start out the first half, and again, a good start for Trenton Gibson penetrating, but it really just opened up things for Justin Mitchell, who really took over the next 4 minutes.
Yeah, Justin, one thing he's done is he doesn't take bad shots. I mean, if he misses 1 or 2 shots, especially from the three-point line, he does a really good job of just driving the ball because he's so strong. And as you've seen, hitting a few jumpers. And when Justin's doing that, we're a different team. The
Mitchells were taking over here from the very first start. So we're inside 8 minutes. We get a tip in for Jacob Hobbs. And again, just driving into the bucket, and it's not a bad shot. It doesn't look bad, and he's a guy that can always finish around the rim. He's a guy that's always following the play.
Yeah, he does a really good job of, penetrating and finishing. I mean, when that ball goes in, everything's a little bit different because it opens up from the outside as you see Jalen Crowder hitting that three. And when that happens, and we rebound the ball like we are, like we have been, especially on the offensive end, it helps.
Here's that energy group that comes in. That's Will Vetter, Untitled Chapter, James West, and Jalen Crowder. You've already seen Crowder hit a three. Now West is hitting a three. If you get both of those guys going here down the stretch here in the month of February, it's already a dangerous team becomes even more dangerous.
Yes, if you can get those two going, making three-point shots, we become a different team because, you got to play inside out. And I think James, he'll get better. I mean, he's gotten better through the course. I mean, he's still battling injury on his wrist. So, but with Jalen and him making outside shots, we're a different team.
Josh Scott comes in, a guy given an opportunity, penetrates and gets a big bucket there at the end of the first half as Anderson was making a run back. But then the second half, there's a Pioneer team that had 17 more shots attempts than that of Anderson, and there's another reason why. Josh Scott going after another second chance.
Yeah, Josh did a really good job of coming off the bench. I mean, he did play limited minutes, but he produces in those limited minutes. And when he comes in, he's an energized bunny. As you see, he got a couple baskets and plus an and one.
Untitled Chapter, who's started this calendar year 2022 just red hot on fire, couldn't stop him. Kind of been defended a bit differently, but showing some dribble ability, ball handling skills with the crossover to get to the rim.
Unati is very, very skilled. He can put the ball on the floor, play back to the basket. Now he can also step out and shoot the three. When that happens, I mean, he gets comfortable. He's hard to handle because he's so skilled. He can play with his back to the basket and get his own shot.
Got this third group that comes in, and Thunderberg along with Makai Olden. Bierster comes into the game. Zach Dixon comes into the contest, and it's he brought them in about 6.5 minutes to play in the contest, and it was still very even. Those guys played at a very high level to close the game out.
It's a testament to them because those guys come to practice every single day, and they never take days off. And it kind of showed in that game because when they came in, I always say when when you put the bench in, it can't be any drop off. And they came in, there was no drop off, and they did a really good job of sustaining the lead.
Trent Gibson, 13 points, 9 assists, 8 rebounds. Justin Mitchell, 10 points in that first half. Will Vetter, 9 points in that contest. 14 players played. Everybody scored in the contest, too. And I don't know if you've ever had that in your career.
No, I never had that, not here especially. It was good. It's good to see. It's always good to see those guys that don't hardly get to play, get some good minutes, and it brings, shows the hard work they've been doing. It kind of gives them a boost of confidence as well.
48% shooting from the field for the Pioneers. Again, they get the victory against Anderson. They kind of got that sour taste in their mouth with that Queens loss, again, at home in overtime. But then you're going to take on a totally different team. And for the Pioneers, with that victory, stay a half game back of Queens, who then wouldn't play on Saturday, so a chance to get into the top of the table with a victory against LR. LMU, Tusculum tied for that number 2 spot. And you take on an LR team that, even in this TV show last week, and I was looking at, and I knew it wasn't right, but I was looking at the numbers on the website, and I thought, no, that's not how many wins they had. And then as I'm researching it, I didn't realize it was like that. They have really gone through a bad way, middle of December through about the middle of January. And they haven't changed in it. They still play very hard, and they're a tough team to play, but they just haven't been getting results.
No, they haven't. But every team, as I said before, you go through things that the public don't see. And Coach Sullivan, Eric Sullivan, is an unbelievable coach. He's one of the best in this business. He just has some balls and unfortunate things fall his way, and they weren't able to win. I know when we went down there, we beat them. We only held them to 49 points when we went down. And I told our team the other day when we played them, it's going to be a different team.
Yeah.
And that team right there, they finally getting it together. And I think, that's a really good team. They just have some things, have some injuries. You got this COVID stuff going on. But once they get everything settled in and everybody back on the same page, I think that'd be fine.
DJ Neesmith might be one of the most versatile bigs, notwithstanding the guys that we have, maybe even in the league, because he was really difficult to handle in that first half.
And as I told you at a post-game show, he come from a junior college, and he played the 3 position in junior college. He's really good, and he did a really good job of playing within himself this game. They threw the ball down inside. He faced up, got to the rim, and he finished. And we just didn't do a good enough job on him. We tried to double team him a couple times, to get the ball in his hand. But the times that he didn't, he went and got the offensive rebound and put it back. So it's some things that we have to work on. But those guys did a really good job of with their game plan.
Jalen Johnson leads them in scoring. He was able to hit some really big shots down the stretch. And a game in which the Pioneers were starting to pull away, he brought them back into the contest. So let's take a look at the highlights. Tusculum versus Lenoir-Rhyne as we wrap up this 3-game homestand here in the month of January, and trying to get a win heading into February. And again, it was a really good start. Really, I think both teams just kind of traded some jabs there in that first half. A very typical first half for the Pioneers.
Yeah, it was. As you see, a lot of our buckets came early, though, in transition. And I think we kind of got away from that. Especially as the game went on, because at a half court, you see Justin Mitchell making that shot. But we got a lot of our buckets early in transition, and that was why we was able to pull away.
And Justin Mitchell, again, the opening 5 minutes and 5 seconds, another 10-point outing for him, just kind of exploding. And he's just seeing the rim so well right now.
Yeah, he is. But win or lose, those guys are in the gym, and as I told you, that's what makes this team so special, because they put in the work. And Justin, he's done it all year, and it's showing and paying off right now.
Gibson, who really labored in that contest. Justin Mitchell comes up with an offensive rebound putback, just really struggled. Couldn't find a way to make a shot in the game, literally.
They did a really good job of with the game plan on Justin. What they did is, on Trenton, they double teamed him off ball screens and made him take tough 2s and 3s. But that's when somebody else has got to step up.
Take a 9-point lead early in that second half, and then LR rallies. They would take the lead, and here we are. These shots that you're seeing that are going in are basically us trying to rally and get the lead back from the Bears, and really just holding a very slim 3 to 4 point lead in the contest. Jalen Johnson, I think, changes the game a bit when he gets a second chance opportunity. They hit a 3-pointer right at the end of the shot clock, and all of a sudden you're thinking, oh no. And they executed down the stretch, and we just weren't able to make enough shots down the stretch.
We every time we couldn't get that stop. We always, like I said, we try to get 3 stops in a row. That's one gap, and we couldn't get that stop. We get 2, and we score, come down, they get an and 1. or they get the offensive rebound put back. So when you play a team like that, you can't, in this league, as I've said before, from top to bottom, it's one of the toughest leagues in the country. And when you playing at home or on the road, you got to bring it every night. And that Lenore Ryan team that we seen Saturday showed it. You can't take any days off, and we come up on the short end of the stick because they just came in, they just beat us, and I take a lot of blame for that. We just got to get ready. We got to get better at ball screen coverages. But as I said before, I'm glad we've seen it now because we'll see it again and we know how to adjust to it.
Worst game of the season for Trenton, just 3 points in the contest, been in double digits every single game, but had 3 points in the game. Justin Mitchell had a career high in 21 points. Pioneers got out-rebounded, but had more offensive rebounds. However, it was the last 7 minutes of the game that LR exploded on the glass and were able to convert those second-chance opportunities, even though Tusculum held them to under 40% shooting for the game with 2.8 seconds to play in the contest. And as Tyson knocks down the three that gave them the lead. And I like the decision. Let's just roll with it. Let's go. You didn't need to call that timeout and give them a chance to set up, because I think if it's Coach Sullivan, he probably throws a different look at you defensively and makes it more difficult.
Yeah, Georgie, and I know I had a couple of timeouts left, but I've never done that. And because I trust Trenton Gibson, because as bad as he may play, you look at that last shot that he took. It was on line to go in.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things. I tell these guys, man, I believe in you. We just come up a little short, and it's very unfortunate. But guess what? I mean, we get to play on Wednesday, and we get to live to see another day. And it's not the end of the year. It's not the end of the world. The sun did come up on Sunday, and we'll be okay. We just got to get back to the drawing board. And sometimes it takes a little humbling like that to get yourself going.
Pioneer team that stays now third alone in the league, as LMU did win. They would defeat Wingate, which is why Tusculum is third alone in the South Atlantic Conference. Queens LMU tied atop the league table. Pioneers still have the Rail Splitters to play middle of February. The Pioneers a half game ahead of Wingate, whom they've split with already this season. And just behind them is Carson Newman, and an Eagle team that is going to be hungry and going to be ready. The zone is always tough to play against. A couple of teams that can play zone and do it very well. They'll stay in it. They do a really good job with it. The Brennigans are playing quite well. You got Trip Davis that's playing pretty good. E.J. Bush playing really good for Carson Newman.
Yes, Carson Newman is going to be, this is one of those games coming up on Wednesday where it don't matter how each team is playing, the record of each team. It's just, the fortune of team who's playing at home and the crowd, and you're going to have to bring it. It don't matter. So, that's what I was telling the guys. After the loss on Saturday, Carson Newman doesn't care. Right. Nobody else cares in this league. So you got to be able to come out. You got to be ready to go, and we'll be prepared. But it is going to be a dogfight come Wednesday night.
A Pioneer team that goes on the road next week. Carson Newman, then Newberry in the month of February. It's 5 road games out of the 8 that you'll play. So again, not a lot, not very easy, and it starts with a really, really rough week right from the very beginning.
And that's why I was telling the guys. We had 5 home games in the month of January. But in February, on the road for 5 of those games, and you gotta take it one game at a time. We got Carson Newman coming up. We just got to get prepared. We'll start tonight, and it's gonna be rough. We got a tough month, and we're gonna see what we're made of right now.
Pioneers are getting set to start that final month of the season again, playing quite well, despite not getting a couple of wins in their last 3 contests. Have fallen twice in the last 3. Try to turn that around as we head into the month of February. As always, thanks for tuning in. He's Pioneer coach J.T. Burton. Behind the scenes is Dom Donnelly and Jim Miller and Jessica Biggers. We appreciate them and their assistance and all of their help as well. This Wednesday, the Pioneers at historic Holt Fieldhouse. On Saturday, iconic Eliezer Arena. Join us on the Pioneer Sports Network on the road, because the radio tune-in is always a lot more fun than the video tune-in when we're on the road. So do that for us. Go to the webpage, TusculumPioneers.com. Click the link that says listen live to the Carson Newman and Newberry game as well. If you do wish to watch it, those groups do a really good job with their video as well. For Coach Burton, I'm Brian Staten. Until next week, go Pioneers.